21 goalies, 204 players, all somehow picked before Henrik Lundqvist. When the New York Rangers selected him 205th overall, no one batted an eyelid. There was no hype. This was just another late-round flyer. What they didn't realize is that New York had just drafted a future hockey legend. Lundqvist would go on to build one of the most legendary careers in NHL goalie history, while many of the names called before him would fade into obscurity. So, what happened to them? Let's find out. First up in the 2000 NHL draft was Rick DiPietro, who just so happens to be another goalie. The New York Islander was a talented player and brought swagger to the net, but injuries, including multiple concussions and hip surgeries, became a recurring problem. A strong start convinced the team to ink him to a mind-blowing 15-year, $67.5 million deal in 2006, which would ultimately become the defining moment of his career. Yes, he was a talented goalie, but his contract went down in infamy as one of the worst ever, with him being bought out by the team during the 2012-13 season. Ouch! The second pick in 2000 was spent on Danny Heatley, who went to the Atlanta Thrashers. After one more year of college action, he took to the ice for the 2001-02 season and made an immediate impact, winning the Calder Trophy. Tragedy, in the form of a car crash in 2003, which killed his teammate and injured Heatley, greatly impacted his third season in the league, resulting in him being moved to Ottawa, where he had two 50-goal, 100-point seasons. Although he never quite hit that peak again, Heatley was overall a consistent scorer, netting 372 goals in his 869 career games. Marian Gaborik was the pick at 3, going to an expansion team in the Minnesota Wild. A good pick indeed. Gaborik stuck around in Minnesota for 8 seasons, utilizing his blazing speed and quick release to become a consistent contributor. Later in his career, he earned a Stanley Cup win with the LA Kings, leading them in the playoffs with 14 goals. He retired after the 2017-18 season with over 800 points from over 1,000 games. At his best, he really was one of the most dangerous wingers in the game. Columbus, picking 4th, were another expansion team, and they used their first ever pick on Rostislav Klesla. This steady contributor never developed into the playmaker that his 4th overall selection suggested he should have, but he was a physical, defensive presence who represented the Blue Jackets across 10 seasons. Klesla wasn't exactly a hit, but he also doesn't go down as a bust. The New York Islanders were back up at 5th overall, and they used their second draft selection on Raffi Torres. And unfortunately, this goes down as another underwhelming selection. Torres became more well-known for his aggression and suspensions than quality, leading to a 41-game ban in 2015 for a preseason hit. He scored 137 goals in 635 games and helped the Oilers reach the Stanley Cup Final in 2006. But the sheer number of teams he bounced between tells you all you need to know about how highly this guy was valued. Scott Hartnell was the pick at 6, going to the Nashville Predators. Hartnell's career is a story of longevity and quality, regularly contributing to the goal column throughout an impressive 17-year career. He peaked in 2011-12 with the Flyers when he netted 37 goals, which was enough to earn him a spot at the All-Star Game. The 7th pick of the 2000 draft was spent on Lars Johnson by the Boston Bruins. Unfortunately, this goes down as our first true bust. The NHL collective bargaining agreement dictated that European prospects no longer remained the indefinite property of the teams that draft them. So, Johnson continued to develop in Europe for the next 6 years, with the team eventually giving up on him and accepting a compensation pick in the 2006 draft. Johnson would play 8 games with the Flyers that season, but convinced nobody that he was worthy of more games, resulting in him heading back to Sweden. The Tampa Bay Lightning were up at 8, where they selected Nikita Alexeyev, a big-bodied winger who showed flashes of potential but never quite got it together. He played just 159 NHL games, scoring 20 goals and 37 points, mainly bouncing around other leagues across the globe to try and establish a consistent role. Calgary then picked Brent Cron, 9th overall, our second goalie to go in the top 10. This one is a disaster pick when you consider Henrik Lundqvist would be taken at pick 205, with Cron playing just one single game for Dallas in the 2008-09 season, in which he allowed 3 goals in 20 minutes. That's not what you want from your top 10 pick. Rounding out the top 10 is Mikhail Yakubov, who was taken by the Chicago Blackhawks. The Russian center entered the NHL with high expectations, but he struggled to adjust to the league, playing in just 53 games, which yielded just 12 points. He goes down as another bust, who eventually had to find playing time in leagues outside of the NHL. Outside of this top 10, it is notable that another 19 goalies were taken before the great Henrik Lundqvist. Ilya Bryzgalov went 44th overall and had solid enough stints with Anaheim and Philadelphia, which included a title in 2007 as a backup. Dan Ellis picked up 212 games as a journeyman after being taken 60th overall, and Roman Cechmanek started out well after being taken by Philadelphia 171st overall. None of these goalies come anywhere near the output of Henrik Lundqvist, though, who went on to celebrate 5 All-Star selections. He won 459 games, produced 64 shutouts, and boasted a .918 save percentage from his superb 887-game career, making him a goaltending legend for the Rangers and his national team as well. It's hard to make a case for anyone in the 2000 NHL draft going ahead of him in a redraft, but that doesn't mean he wasn't the only late selection steal. Brooks Orpik was a great pick at 18, going on to win a Stanley Cup with Pittsburgh in 2009 and with Washington in 2018. Justin Williams, who was taken 28th by the Flyers, built a reputation as Mr. Game 7 for his clutch performances, winning 3 Stanley Cups and a Conn Smythe Trophy in 2014. He played 9 Game 7 playoff games in his career, boasting a handy 8-1 record in them. His 797 career points across 1,264 games tells the story of a reliable, consistent, and quality leader, which is exactly what you want to see from your first-round draft selection. Anton Vermette goes down as another solid pick at 55th overall, operating as a two-way center for Ottawa. He played an impressive 1,046 games and captured a Stanley Cup with Chicago in 2015. Way after him, but still not as far back as Henrik Lundqvist, we have John Michael Liles. Solid value at pick 159 for the Colorado Avalanche, where he operated as a savvy defenseman who was renowned for his offensive abilities, especially on the power play. He was an anchor for the Avalanche for 7 years, before going on to have success in Toronto and Carolina as well. As good as all these players were, however, none of them can rival the incredible value that the New York Rangers found at pick 205. Although Henrik Lundqvist never got the Stanley Cup his career deserved, he helped the Rangers become perennial playoff threats, and he did taste glory for Sweden, winning an Olympic gold medal and 2 world championships, a true legend of the sport. So, which names surprised you the most from this 2000 draft? And who deserves a mention that I missed off? Let me know in the comments. So, how would you redraft the top 10 picks in 2000? Does Lundqvist crack the top 10 or even top 5? Let us know in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more videos.